First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for walking out in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner after my brother-in-law announced my sister's pregnancy? I, 36 female, went through an incredibly hard time losing my baby while I was 5 months pregnant with him. This has affected me both physically and emotionally. I don't have kids, and my husband and I have been struggling for a long time trying to have kids. My sister has been supportive of me. She's 7 years younger than me and has been married to her husband for 2 years now. She visited me several times to see how I was doing. Her husband, however, seems to have an issue with me personally. He's always been treating me poorly and acting like he's somehow superior to me and my husband. My husband doesn't see my family much, so this wasn't an issue, especially when my brother-in-law comes over. My husband and I were invited to Thanksgiving dinner at my mom's house. We got there a bit late because I was taking care of some tests at a hospital that needed to be done so that my doctor could see them the next day. We sat at the table. My aunt was present. She lives alone, so she always visits and casually talked about several things. I noticed my sister and my brother-in-law were whispering something to each other, and at some point, I heard my sister tell her husband to knock it off. We were confused. We had no idea what was going on. Next thing I knew, my brother-in-law got up from his seat and announced that they were expecting. I looked at my husband and he was shocked, but not because of the news, but the way it was given. My sister hid her face in her hands and did nothing else except that. It took me time to process this while my aunt got up and started hugging and congratulating my sister. I don't know what suddenly happened to me. My heart started pounding, and my husband was already gone to the bathroom to wash up. I just gathered my things and took my purse, then told them to finish their dinner, then I walked out. My sister was sitting there the entire time and just watched me and my husband walked out while my mom was trying to convince me to stay for a little longer. I felt absolutely horrible. I only lost my baby 2 weeks ago, and for me to be taken off guard like that is just horrible. I got no calls nor texts from my sister wanting to talk. Nothing. But my aunt called me to tell me what I did was totally inappropriate, and that I should have stayed and congratulated my sister and her husband. Even berated my husband for not reacting differently. I argued with her that my brother-in-law did it purposely and that he could have picked a better time, but instead chose to spite me and my husband while still grieving our baby. My aunt still thinks I should have acted in an adult way and not walked out on dinner like that. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your aunt and brother-in-law get that honor. Give your sister time. I'm sure she was shocked that someone she's having a baby with overrode her wishes in such a spectacular manner. And she's juggling a pregnancy and being amazing, supportive sister to you, and her husband just messed it all up. I feel so much hurt because of what he did. My aunt claims that I'm being unfair, saying he did it on purpose, but she was there. She saw how he was behaving, and I can tell you it was intentional. I'm not being bitter or anything. I've experienced the worst thing in my entire life, and this was not okay. I'm human too. I have feelings, and I've felt hurt and pain after he decided to spite me and my husband. You lost your baby 2 weeks ago, and brother-in-law thought this was a good time to announce? Not the a-hole. I'm sorry for your loss. I can understand they wanted to tell family in person while people were together, but they should have at the very least warned you beforehand or waited until Christmas. Preferably both. At this point, it's very clear that he has a problem with me. He's always been behaving like he has control over my sister, telling her when to visit me and how long she should stay there. He's not a nice person and tends to be controlling and selfish. Not the a-hole. I completely agree with you. Losing your baby only 2 weeks ago, at 5 months pregnant, is very hard. You were still grieving a tremendous loss, and your brother-in-law had no couth in announcing their healthy pregnancy at a family gathering. He and your sister are the a-holes here. This stuff is so hard. I would have also walked out too. Hugs, OP. I disagree about the sister being an a-hole. She told him to knock it off before he made the announcement, which makes me think she didn't want him to do it then. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not putting my baby in the outfit my mother-in-law bought for Thanksgiving? So, I had a baby in September. She's the first grandchild on either side, so obviously everyone is all over her. We'll call my baby Daisy. Both my parents and my in-laws gave us different outfits for Thanksgiving at different times. My parents gave me a little onesie and an overall dress with a turkey on it. It was pretty cute. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, gave us a onesie and a pair of pants, and the onesie said, "I'm here because mom's turkey got stuffed." I actually got rid of it because that's gross. We decided to split Thanksgiving between the houses. Everyone quarantined beforehand, tested negative, etc. And my mother-in-law immediately saw that Daisy wasn't wearing the shirt she bought and asked what had happened. I tried to dodge the question because I don't want to cause a tense situation, but my mother-in-law kept badgering me about it, not even wanting to hold Daisy because she wasn't wearing her outfit. Thanksgiving lunch was really tense, and when we left, my mother-in-law texted me and said it was very rude that Daisy wasn't wearing the outfit she bought her and demanded to know why. I finally told her it was because I didn't want to put my 2-month-old in a shirt that had a natural innuendo on it. And looking back at photos of her first holiday, I didn't want that outfit involved. She called me a killjoy and rude, so I just left her on read. I feel like I'm the a-hole because I could have just humored her for an hour and not have documented the outfit and that it was a gift. My fiancé says he supported not putting Daisy in the outfit and that it made him feel gross too. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I realize I called him my fiancé in the post, but we got married last month. I'm just not used to saying husband yet. Just to clarify if I call him the two interchangeably. It's an adjustment. Not a a-hole. It's gross. You're right. And mother-in-law sounds like a handful, but that's for another sub. Just a piece of unsolicited advice that probably didn't occur to you because you're a new parent. Next time when someone asks and you want an easy out, just say the kid had a diaper explosion in it and you had to throw it out. Yep, that diaper blowout excuse works like a charm. Not the a-hole. Your kid isn't a billboard for jokes your mother-in-law thinks are funny but you don't. Edited to add. Also, I hate it when people push and push and push for the answer and then get offended when they hear the truth. Exactly. Like you wanted to know so bad, don't get all pissy when you find out. Not the a-hole. Thank you for putting a stop to inappropriate baby clothes. Yuck. Some baby clothes have awful slogans on them. Like, who is out there thinking up this stuff and other people are like, yeah, that's totally fine to put on a baby you can't even read. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out on Thanksgiving? My son, 16, was recently diagnosed with an eating disorder. It was something that had been going on for months, but no one picked up on it. Since being diagnosed, he has not left the house except to go to emergency doctor appointments or for some fresh air. Because of his current fragile state, he has to be watched a lot, have his meals weighed and measured by his newly referred dietitian, and he is not allowed to exercise, which is killing him as that was his favorite thing to do. Before COVID, he used to go for runs at his high school gym with his friends, and the fact that he can't now is very upsetting to him. Since his diagnosis, we have to be very careful about what we as a family say and do. Obviously, with Thanksgiving coming up, we knew it would be extra hard for him. For dinners every year, we would make a big deal about the food and family and friends. But with COVID, we limited it to our family. Me, my husband and my son, my parents, and my sister who lives by herself. My sister is very socially conscious and decided to become vegan during quarantine. She openly talks about how much better she feels about it and basically talks bad about what other people eat if it's not vegan. With the diagnosis and my son's consent, we told our family what was happening and made it very clear not to talk about food in any context, including veganism. Everyone was super supportive, and my sister asked if she could still bring her own vegan food. I said yes, provided she doesn't make a big deal about it being vegan and her own lifestyle choices. Cut to today, everything was going well until dinner. I brought my son his food and we had a happy dinner until my sister brought up how her tofu was better than the turkey my son was eating. We all gave her sharp eyes, and she then went on to say that there was nothing wrong with eating turkey, but tofu would make her feel less tired and stuffed after. Although my son tried to put on a brave face, he ended up running to his room and having a panic attack. I was so upset with my sister that right after dinner, I told her to leave. She didn't respect my wishes or her nephew's needs, and for that, she wasn't welcome. I packed her stuff and told her to go, and we spent the rest of the night with lots of tension. My father claimed I was harsh, and my mother didn't say anything, but my husband agrees with my action. Am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She had one job. Yes, this. One simple thing. She can't follow that. Screw her. Your child's well-being is more important, and she just didn't care or think it was real. Either way, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You are dealing with your child's serious medical issue. You gave clear boundaries to your sister. She chose to ignore them. She's an adult responsible for her actions. Yeah, I genuinely can't imagine being a big enough douche to do literally the only thing I was specifically told not to do, and on one specific day of the year. It's like she either did it on purpose or simply couldn't help herself. I know it's a popular stereotype, but this story seems to reinforce the quip that you'll know someone is vegan if they never shut up about it. Not the a-hole. Your sister sounds obnoxious and inconsiderate. She just feels very proud of her decision, and I was really hoping for one night she could put aside her views. I'm just upset that it came to this. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole? I abruptly left a Thanksgiving family dinner and told my little brother to come with me. I'm 20 female, the oldest out of 3 siblings. For privacy reasons, I'll refer to my youngest brother 12 male as Yosef and another brother 19 male as Owen. I'm struggling with an eating disorder that has significantly affected my weight. Yosef is considered obese for his age/height, and Owen has a lanky build with a high metabolism. Despite us 3 weighing roughly the same amount, we obviously have different frames. Now, my parents had a small Thanksgiving dinner with the 5 of us and invited my aunt, 43 female, and her husband over. Everything was going well. We were having a good time, enjoying our food, sharing laughs, etc. It was a good night up until my aunt decided to talk about our weight. My aunt pointed out that this is the first time she's seen me eat an entire meal since my stillbirth. Bringing up a traumatic experience that I'm still grieving from, surely, made the atmosphere in the house intense. I didn't want to ruin the dinner though, so I laughed it off and tried to shift the focus onto something else. But of course, she insisted on talking about it. She said that if I was in between Owen and Yosef's weight, I'd be physically healthier. I found the comment to be unnecessary and ignorant because, like I mentioned before, us 3 weigh nearly the same amount. Owen didn't pay much mind to what she said, but I saw that Yosef was visibly upset. He struggles with his self-esteem, so when I saw that he was on the verge of crying, I told everyone that we should wrap up Thanksgiving. This made my mom hostile towards me because I was being disrespectful to my aunt and needed to pipe down. After a moment of awkward silence, I grabbed my belongings and told Yosef that we should leave to the store before it closes. The house is quiet, things are uncomfortable, and Yosef and I head out. We didn't go to the store, but we did hang out at the beach for a bit and talked. When I came by the house to drop him off, my parents refused to open the door. So now, here I am, at my apartment with my little brother who finally went to bed after crying his eyes out. I did get an angry voicemail from my mom. It was pretty brutal. She told me not to bring him back until we both apologized to her and my aunt. I know I could have reacted and handled things better. I was just too caught up in getting Yosef away from them. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for basically kidnapping my little brother during a Thanksgiving family dinner? Regardless, I do plan on apologizing, but want to know if I should still stand my ground. Now for the top comments. My aunt pointed out that this is the first time she's seen me eat an entire meal since my stillbirth. She said that if I was in between Brother O and Brother Y's weight, I'd be physically healthier. My God, is this woman shaming you for having a stillbirth? That's how that reads to me, OP. That she blames the stillbirth on your weight. I can't imagine something more cruel. You are 100% not the a-hole here. Your aunt is a monster, and your mother is defending a monster. I am so sorry for your loss, and you're a good sister. Edited since I somehow missed that it was a 12-year-old brother who your mom won't let go home, and I'm the top comment. Your mom is a monster too, OP. Not just an a-hole, a mistreating monster. I agree with the others below that you need to call CPS or your police non-emergency line to ask for advice. Explain they are refusing to allow your 12-year-old brother into the house. Keep that voicemail and play it for them if you can. If you are willing, ask about guardianship. I am so sorry for your loss, and that didn't get the family you deserve. If you haven't already seen a therapist since the stillbirth, I really recommend it. I found it helpful after my pregnancy loss, and it could be really helpful in figuring out how to best support your brother. Soft hugs if you want them. No, I think it's the other way around. OP lost a lot of weight after her stillbirth, from grief, And Aunt is saying that she needs to go back to eating full meals again so that she can gain weight to be between her two brothers, both of whom she also indirectly insulted, lol. One's too thin and one's too fat, apparently. But she's blaming the weight on the stillbirth, not blaming the stillbirth on the weight. And either way is a huge gaping a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your brother is lucky to have you, and your aunt is a craphead. Your mother might be even worse, as she's the one who needs to tell her sister to stand down. I'd ask your mom if she wants to bring his clothes over, or should you pick them up? Not the a-hole. OP, F your mother. Tell her if she doesn't open the damn door, you'll call CPS for neglecting him. And should apologize to you. I'd be damned if I were you and apologized. No way. Not the a-hole. Your aunt was cruel, and your mother worse for not defending her own children. And your father as well, because he's not mentioned but apparently did not speak up to defend his children either, and participated with your mother-in-law talking their 12-year-old out of his house. Shoot your mother a text and ask her if she plans to drop off temporary guardianship papers for your brother, since she is refusing to allow him back into his own home. And however this gets resolved in the next day or so, be sure to find a way to remain in touch with your brother, because at his age, he is very vulnerable and may be subject to more BS once they allow him back into the house. I'm sorry for your loss. It's a heartbreaking thing to be forcibly reminded of on a holiday by someone using your pain to be cruel. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you with the next one. Stay safe.